Right. Shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Waharakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Hopefully the audio is coming through clear. It looks like it anyway. I can see the image fluctuating. So yeah, hopefully that's good. We're just gonna go over a couple of videos that I found recently. I found quite interesting and filter a lot of what these dudes are saying through the scriptures. We're definitely in the last days. The Lord is preparing these last prophecies to pop off. The MOTB, the time of Jacob's trouble, war, yeah, and the destruction of America by thermonuclear missiles. Which we got to put that disclaimer that when we preach and prophesy the destruction of America, it's not something that we hope to achieve. It's something which is prophesied the Most High is going to make it happen. Okay, we're not militants. We're not militant in our nature. We teach the word of the Most High, and the Lord is going to make it manifest because it's His word. All right, we're not trying to purchase weapons of mass destruction to force the will of the Heavenly Father. Okay, we're spiritual men, but we're just telling you like it is. These are the things that's going to happen. Okay. So that's why we preach the destruction of America. It's in the scriptures. Now, I want to start off with the scripture real quick, man, because everything we do is to give glory unto the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is Daniel's 4:17. Now, you should know that when you're dealing with the book of Daniel's and you're dealing with this chapter, it's in regards to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, who was king of Babylon. Babylon was a great empire. They conquered and subjugated many nations. Nebuchadnezzar, he had a vision, a dream, and Daniel broke it down for him to let him know that his kingdom was one of many which was to come, and his kingdom would fall, and a new kingdom would arise, and that kingdom would fall, so on and so forth, until this kingdom that we're in today, this latter kingdom, and this too shall fall, and give way to the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of our Lord. And of course, that Nebuchadnezzar got proud, as men do, because men feel the pride of man is that they do things of their own strength, and their life and is in their control. But that's just not true. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is the one who is in control. So that being said, when you go to Daniel 4:17, it says, "This matter is by decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men." Right? The Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, rules in the kingdom of hell, of men. In the kingdom of men. So all the events of mankind, even down to the smallest thing which you think is insignificant, ultimately it's the will of the Heavenly Father being played out on earth. All right, everything has happened and will happen according as the Most High has planned it to happen, and that goes on the individual level, the community level, the national level. All right, no matter which level you want to bring it to, the Lord is running that. You know, the rise and fall of men, the rise and fall of nations, it's all down to the Heavenly Father. In fact, there's another scripture that's coming to my mind. What's that? Psalms, is it 70? Is it 76? 76 or 75? And that's why you got to be humble, you know. Is it 76 or 75? It might be 75. You got to be humble, man. And that's the difference between the Sith and the Jedi, between righteousness and witchcraft, right? The Sith, if you're into the Star Wars thing, the Sith, they wanted to subjugate the Force and bend all things to their own will and their own flesh and emotions, whereas the Jedi wanted to be humble and meek and give way to the Force and let things be as they should be and not try and control everything. But that is the arrogance of man. All right. Yes, Psalm 75 and 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So everything is in the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And so these kingdoms that exist today is no different. America's rise was by the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. The Most High set up the rise of Babylon the Great, the re-emergence of the Roman Empire. The Lord did that. And by the Lord's hand, the same power that brought them into power is the same power that's going to cast them down. The Lord put them up and the Lord's going to put them down. It's by his word, by prophecy. Point blank, period. All right? There ain't no other way around it. All right? And that's why you got to be humble. Obviously, Nebuchadnezzar wasn't humble, so he ended up eating grass for 7 years. He didn't want to accept it. And giveth it to whomsoever he will. Right? He giveth it to whomsoever he will. So the Lord, if you look at the earth, the Lord could put whoever he want in power. And it could be a man that you look at and think, oh, they could never be in power. Well, that's according to you. If the Lord will it so, they shall be. It said, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Well, what does it mean by the basis of men? The guy that's at the bottom. The Lord can take the guy that's at the bottom and put him on top. Right? The Lord can take a people who people look down on, and then next thing you know, they're the next empire. And that's happened. And it's going to happen again, because who's the basis of men now? The Israelites. We're the basis of men. The base means the lowest, the men that's at the bottom. We're at the bottom. We're the last people anyone expects to do anything in this earth. But the Lord is going to take the basis of men and establish them as a kingdom. That's the power of the Lord. Okay? So what we're seeing right now is the fall of Esau, Edom, and in the Babylon the Great, the beast. We're seeing them fall as we speak. They don't know it. They don't understand it because they're men. They're proud. They're arrogant. And no man really sees it until it happens. They're blinded by their own arrogance and their pride. But every move Esau is making, every move they make right now is leading to their destruction. But like I said, the arrogance of man is to believe that they are in control. So a lot of the events you see happening, they're orchestrating these events. But what you gotta understand is, even though they're orchestrating these events are going to turn on them in a way that they never envisioned. Because again, they think they're the ones that's in control, and that's arrogance. And that's how men have always fallen. You go through history and you go through the long line of empires, and the historians will tell you, like, what the hell were these guys thinking? What were they doing? Towards the end of their empire, they always did folly. They always did that which was unwise. Why? Because the Lord put the spirit of pride within them to get them to do that which was going to lead to their own destruction, to fulfill the Lord's will, to fulfill their end. They always overreach. They always do too much. That's how it is, right? Arrogance, the old Icarus setting. Yeah. So let me play this clip here from your insider Scott Ritter, and none of these dudes can be trusted, of course, but what he says here makes sense, and we got scriptures to back it up. Oh, let me get this real quick. I see this. Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will. Oh shit, what does that say? Let me put it up there. I can't. Hold on. Sorry. I will do all my pleasure. Yeah, the Lord, the prophecies, what's going to come. Now Esau thinks he's going to establish his new world order. He's going to orchestrate chaos and control the chaos. Witchcraft, control chaos. They talk about that in The Witcher. If you watch The Witcher, the witches talk about controlling chaos. They're trying to control chaos to manifest their own will. Listen, you fools. Who do you think you are, man? You going into slavery. Manifest that, yeah? All right, so let's play this Scott Ritter thing. Let's hit the 1.25 on that because I've got a limited time.
In terms of provocation, what makes you move from a peaceful thing to a prepared stance? Something had to trigger that. Then what would it take to prepare you to being even more prepared, than to preempt and then to be in full-scale war? How do you run up that escalation ladder? But that very rarely happens. You very rarely get the single strand. Oftentimes you get multiple strands, and a lot of times they use this in business. For instance, that you have people talking about global warming and climate change policy, and then so you can't just say, what is our strategy for oil? Because you need, as your strategy for oil progresses, it impacts your strategy for nuclear energy, which impacts your strategy for renewable energy. And so the three things have to coordinate with each other. And that's what we're looking at right now. We have Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran. Now there's each one of those can break down to different. For instance, Hamas, Hezbollah, but Hezbollah isn't just Hezbollah, because when we speak of the Lebanese border, there's a Lebanese Hamas out there. They just fired some weapons today. They're hooking and jabbing. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad is operating out of Lebanon. There's other Palestinian factions operating out of Lebanon, and Hezbollah is trying to control them. So even within Hezbollah, there's different ladders going up. Iran, they deal with the Syrian and Iraqi Shia militias, which are responsive to Iran, but also the Houthi. And we just saw the Houthi just decided the hell with it. They went, screw it, we're going to war, launch the missiles. And Iran's going, what? Don't launch the missiles. Don't launch the missiles, because you just screwed up my escalation ladder. I'm sitting here because Iran's talking to the United States. You know this. The Iran foreign minister came to New York. Okay, there were conversations, direct conversations, the kind of conversations that have to take place, which is, hey guys, Israel screwed up. Right now, I got a whole bunch of screaming meanies in Syria and Iraq that are screaming for your blood. And they're
so what he's talking about, and see, you understand this. You got the princes, the leaders of the people, and then you got the common people, right? And you got different factions. Then that's why the scriptures say the least of the flock. What the state of what is doing, right, is rousing up the people. They are rousing the people up. The actions they're committing. And let me say this, the optics on these guys is terrible. Like, they have lost the propaganda war. The majority of the planet Earth is looking at these dudes like real scumbags. It's actually sad. The best thing for the Israeli state to do right now is stop what they're doing, do nothing, and start handing out turkeys at Thanksgiving if they want to recover from this They need to start handing out turkeys at Thanksgiving and doing prize giveaways, because the optics, the public opinion is overwhelmingly against those people. They are it's sad what's happening to them. But they're doing it in their own arrogance, you know. That's what happens when you're brawling and you act bold. You know, it's crazy. All right. In fact, no, let me just continue on. But yeah, these guys, man, they're rousing up the people, and so even the leaders of these nations are under pressure. They're under pressure from their people to do something, because the average person is extremely angry. All right. Let me get these to the floor. The average person is extreme. I'll be going to school. I'll be doing the school run, and I'll be like walking past parents, and they're cursing out them Arab leaders. Oh, they ain't doing nothing. Did it? Then the other day, I'm on my way to work. I go into the train station, and there was a couple of Mohammedans on the side. And what were they talking about? They were cursing out the Arab leaders. So there's a lot of pressure coming down on the leaders of these countries to act against Israel. The people are generally upset. All right? It's a pressure cooker. And so he's going to discuss how they're trying to relieve the pressure, but these guys won't stop. So they're building the pressure up all the time. And that's going to lead to where we want it to go to. All right? This is Jeremiah 49:20. So therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord. See, the Lord has put an extremely arrogant and proud spirit on the faction of Edomites that's ruling over there in that Israeli state. They put an extreme, that Benjamin Nataril, yeah, and the links he's got, because he's a gangster to the elites, yeah, have made him, him and the man that's running that country are extremely proud. And you can see it by what they're doing so blatantly in the public eye. They're extremely proud. All right. But the Lord has put that proud spirit on them to be that brawling and to be that proud with what they're doing. Right. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Because these Israelis are going to be the spark that causes the entire conflagration to just happen. They're going to draw this thing out, and you're seeing it with your own two eyes because of their greed and because of their pride. They're going to push this thing to a point where it ain't going to be able to be controlled anymore. You're not going to be able to push it off. It's going to explode. Yeah.
They're going to get it. Now, the question is, how are you going to respond? Because we're going to try and slow them down, but we can't stop them. There has to be a pressure relief valve. The pressure relief valve is they're going to get to fire some drones and rockets against your bases. You're going to take casualties. So you get to bomb our stuff, and we're going to take casualties.
So basically, what he's saying is these Iranians and these different leaders will communicate with America and say, look, we have to do something. We got to relieve some of this pressure. So we're going to have to bomb something that you own, and we're letting you know, so that they'll tell you in advance so you can move what you need to move, and there'll be minimum casualties and vice versa. And so we can do that so that the people can say, yeah, they're doing something about it, to try and relieve some of the pressure. And it is something that Elder Ariella spoke to me about years ago, that they communicate with each other to orchestrate certain things just to appease the people. So you might, Iran bombed a military base. They knew that military base was going to be bombed. So they moved, and 2 people got injured. Yeah, because it was already declared. Now I've got a video here real quick that backs that up. Your boy Trump, where is it? Where's Trump at? Oh, damn it. I downloaded the video. All right, give me a second. Where is it? Oh, it didn't work. Give me 1 second, Arkham. I'm gonna. I need to pop this video up because I did have it and then it didn't work. Let me see if I could get it up on here. Actually, Donald Trump. Where is it? Where is it? Who's this? Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna have to play this from here. So. Right. Hopefully you can see this. I'm about to play it for the brother Ratazar posted it. This is your boy Trump. Now listen to what Trump says.
Israel's right to protect itself, but what would you do differently?
Well, I hate to say this but I have to. It would have never happened. I had Iran in a good position. We would have had a deal.
Oh.
Israel's right to protect itself, but what would you do differently?
Well, I hate to say this but I have to. It would have never happened. I had Iran in a good position. We would have had a deal with Iran within 2 weeks after the election if it wasn't rigged. The election was rigged and stolen. We would have had a deal with Iran. Iran was broke. I say respectfully, they were broke when I was president. They had a situation, you remember, they hit one of our drones, and I hit them, and it was now their turn to hit back.
You hear what he just said? They fired, we hit one of the drones, and it was now their turn. So they're having an orchestrated conflict.
This 2 weeks ago to a group, and they found it somewhat fascinating. They called us to tell us that we're going to hit back. Here's the target, but we're not going to hit the target. We're going to just miss it. It's a military base. You know what I'm talking about. That was quite an evening. And
so even Trump is telling you that they do this. I hope with the brothers did you manage to hear that audio? Did that audio come out? I'm not sure. It was a bit light in my headphones. But did you hear what Trump said just now? You know, hopefully it came out. Okay, good. So you heard what he said. Even Trump is confirming that this is what happens. They'll call each other. Iran will call America and say, "Look, yeah, you violated, but you know we don't want to take it to a full-scale war, but we got to do something. So we're gonna hit your military base at this location at this time. So you know, get most of your people out of there. You know, because they don't want to make it into a big deal. That's what Scott Ritter's talking about here. The escalation ladder. They don't really want it to go to the highest level, so they're orchestrating it together to be like, okay, we're going to do a little something, something. You're going to do a little something, something, and we can all grandstand and look like we did something, and then, you know, we'll keep it at that level just to relieve some of the pressure. That's what Scott Ritter's talking about, all right? The games that's getting played.
This is how we're going to control. We're going to work our escalation up here, but we're doing it in a way to relieve pressure, not increase pressure. It's a pressure relief system, which works until the Houthi starts firing rockets.
You see what I'm saying? So what he's saying here is the goal isn't for all-out war. The goal is to do something to relieve some of the pressure so that there isn't an all-out war. You understand? Because they don't really want it to go into, complete destruction. But it's going to go there. Why? He's going to explain it. You got these goofy Israelis ain't got no check.
Rockets. Now the Americans have to start shooting that down and change the equation, and now you see the escalation go up, but it wasn't intended to go up. And now Hezbollah is sitting there going, "Damn it! You know they're out there, hooking and jabbing in the deserts of Syria and Iraq, and we're here. We got to start." And Hezbollah is working with Iran to communicate through their various channels to both Israel, because Hezbollah has a direct line with the Israelis. They have a direct line with Israel. I'm just telling you right now, they do. And Hezbollah is telling the Israelis, we're going to kill about 40 of your guys the next week, and you're going to kill about 50 of our guys, and we're just going to let it hang with there, okay? We don't want this thing to get out of control. We're going to limit the battlefield here.
We don't want it to get out of control because both sides know what that means. An all-out war, ain't nobody eating no pita bread and hummus. You understand? They ain't in an all-out war. There ain't no trips to the brothel. You understand? It's a madness. They know this. So in a lot of ways, they want to avoid it, but it's gonna be unavoidable. It's going to happen. Right? That's why the Lord has had them build up all these weaponries, and because it's inevitably going to happen to fulfill prophecy. It don't matter what they want.
Limited scope, escalation ladder. Meanwhile, Hamas is out there doing their thing, and Israel overreacts by blowing up a refugee camp. Boom! Enraged people more. Now you got to bring the escalation ladder up even more to relieve the pressure, because that's all this is. It's a pressure relief system, and you keep increasing the pressure. And this is where we're at right now. A very, very dangerous system. The United States is deploying, in the process of deploying 2 aircraft carriers, a Marine amphibious readiness group, a whole bunch of ships off the coast. You guys, I hope everybody understands that's nothing. Literally, it's zero combat power. Scott, they have hundreds of airplanes. Yeah, so what? What are they going to do? You think the United States are going to fly multiple combat sorties against Hezbollah? Because the second they do that, Iran gets involved. And you know what isn't going to happen? America's not going to beat Iran. Can't happen. Donald Trump tried to flex that muscle. Remember when they shot down the RQ-4 Global Hawk? And Trump was saying, we got to strike the Iranian defense systems. And the Pentagon went up to him and said, boss, you do that, and the escalation ladder kicks in. And what's going to happen is you're going to hit them, they're going to hit us. Now, you're going to get pissed because when they hit us, they're going to sink a ship. And when they sink a ship and you got 300 dead sailors, you're going to say, hit them hard. And when you hit them hard, you're going to say, hit their oil. Then they're going to hit Saudi Arabian oil. And then it's all over because the economy's sunk. And now we're in a general war with Iran, and we don't have the troops to do that. It's going to take us 9 to 12 months just to generate this power. Now we got to move the power overseas into the Middle East. This ain't Desert Storm. We don't have ports that are going to receive us without fire. The Iranians are going to be taking out the ports, sinking the ships, blowing up the airfields. 900,000 men is what it's going to take, and even then there's no guarantee of victory. We know this because we've been through this before. It's not like Joe Biden is going, hey, what happens if we go to war against Iran? It was just a couple of years ago, the Pentagon goes, we got the answer to that one, boss. We lose. So all this deployment of forces is purely for political show, for domestic political consumption, so Joe Biden can say, I'm doing something, but he's doing nothing. It's all part of the game.
There you go. But guess what? They're gonna have to go in there. The Israelis are going to mess everything up. They're gonna do something stupid. They're gonna do something arrogant and proud and drag America into a war they're not prepared for. Neither do they really want. But that's what it's gonna be. All right, and it's all prophecy. All right, it's all in the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. The Lord got these devils in a trick bag. All right, this is the book of Job. I love this particular chapter as well. Job 12:16. It says, "With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools. He looseth the bonds of kings, and girdeth their loins with a girdle. He leadeth princes away spoiled, and overthroweth the mighty. He removeth away the speech of the trusty, and taketh away the understanding of the aged. He poureth contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth the deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations, and destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations, and straighteneth them again. And he increased, and he enlarged America and NATO and their allies, and they're about to be straightened and destroyed." All right. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. And that's what you're going to see. All right. It's exactly what you're going to see happening. All right. This is Psalms 33:10. He said, "The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations." These Israelis are over there thinking that in their pride and arrogance that they're gonna bully the nations and establish this greater Israel project. When what they're actually gonna do is trigger World War III and be destroyed. But that's the will of the Lord, because they're gonna get America destroyed right along with them. All right. Where's Joel? Yeah, Joel 3:9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathens round about." So the Lord has already set up that this is what's going to happen. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, so I have to get that right. You know, it says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe." And that time is coming. The time is coming where these guys are going to push and push and push, and enough is going to be enough. And the Lord's going to put the spirit on various actors to get this thing popping. And it's going to be considered madness, but that's exactly what it's going to take. The decisions that are going to be made, people don't really want to make those decisions, but it's going to happen because the Lord is in control. "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fat overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision." Hey, yo, it's going to be crazy. And they don't really want it, but it's going to have to happen. All right. Now, let me play this right here, Douglas McGregor, right? Because he's going to go into these nations, the kind of power they have, but also the treachery that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of treachery. Nations that's been cool ain't going to be cool no more. That's going to happen too. Nations that was cool with America, cool with the state of Israel, they're going to turn on them. And that's biblical too.
In going to war in Eastern Europe. But that's what it looks like right now, just as it looked that way, last fall in Eastern Europe. We wondered whether or not we were going to see a massive intervention in Ukraine. Now we're wondering about what we're going to do. The truth is, we are even less prepared now and less capable now of taking on a regional war, particularly a war that would involve virtually everyone in the region against Israel and the United States. What you're seeing right now is the Iranian leadership just met with President Erdogan of Turkey. This is after their foreign ministers met. They held discussions. We obviously are not privileged to what those discussions were about, but we do have some speechifying by President Erdogan, who points out the world is appalled by what is happening in Gaza.
I'm going to share with you the easiest and fastest route to $20,000 a month in your business. Now, first, quick caveat.
And we have nothing but silence from the United States and its Western allies. What is wrong with this? Now, the Iranian leadership is headed to Riyadh, to Saudi Arabia. These are the major players in the region. One cannot help but conclude that we're watching an alliance coalesce between all of these powers against what is happening with Israel and us. Meanwhile, we're attacking what we say are Iranian-backed Shiite militias and other targets, Syria, Iraq, elsewhere in the Middle East, on the assumption that they all take orders from Iran, which is not really true. They're still independent. The Iraqi militias are nationalist organizations. They may be Shiite, but they're still nationalists, and they're acting on their own. But even then, the little pinprick attacks that they're launching against U.S. positions are just that. They're more signals and warnings than anything else. But they're trying to alert people to the possibility that this could all turn dramatically, in a moment's notice, into a major war launched against Israel and us. So
that's exactly what's going to happen. But it's going to happen in the Lord's time. It's going to. That's why you got Revelations, the 7th chapter. See, the angels are holding back the 4 winds until this ministry be completed. But as soon as, listen, as soon as it's time, and you're just going to see madness go down. But certain things have to happen first. So it's just being prepared. We're just seeing it escalate and escalate. We're seeing the pressure build and build and build. The balloon is being blown up, and the Lord's got the pin. And when the Lord's ready, that pin is going to pop that balloon, man. That pressure cooker, the top is going to fly off.
We send a couple of carrier battle groups. We had
and who's the Lord using to build up the pressure? These you know who I'm talking about, the JOOs. All right, vocab's friends.
Or people on the ground in Syria and Iraq. We had some air defense units to try and protect our forces from air and missile strikes if they're launched against us. But we're not ready for this, Morris. We don't have the ammunition. We don't have the logistical support structure in place. 2 carrier battle groups are supposedly there to deter. They're not going to deter anybody. They sit offshore in the ocean, very far from shore, because the closer they get to shore, the more danger they encounter. But we seem to think that this is sort of a battleship diplomacy. Either you stand down, or here are our new 21st century equivalents of battleships, even though it's a very old solution, carrier battle groups that we can launch 200, 300 cruise missiles. We can launch maybe 80, 90 aircraft at a stretch. But that's not going to win any wars. And the people ashore know that. And now they increasingly have reach and capability that didn't exist. I mean, the biggest problem that we don't seem to come to terms with, we didn't come to terms with it in Russia. We assumed that Russia was weak and incapable and could do nothing but respond to our demands. We got an education. You know, a similar phenomenon in the region today of the Middle East. This is not 1973. This is 50 years later. All of these countries are more capable, both in terms of their populations, they're better educated and more capable of acting decisively in uniform, but especially Turkey and Iran. These are nations.
What did we just read? Let the weak say that I am strong. He's just letting you know that over the course of these last 70 years, prophecy has been prepared to be fulfilled. Over the last 70 years, these nations have gotten themselves to a point that an all-out war, F it. It's not going to be easy for you. Like, yeah, come do it then. Let's see what you can do. That's the point the Lord's brought it to. Let the weak say that I'm strong. They got a little something over there that for you, some countermeasures that'll give you way more than a bloody nose. This ain't Vietnam. This ain't Iraq when they had their little Scud missiles. These guys have got hypersonic missiles, Onyx missiles. They got shit that they got something over there.
Of nearly 90 million people each. The Iranians have some of the best air and missile and space experts in the world. They put together an arsenal of missiles that could dramatically destroy Israel if launched. Then you have the Turks. They can put 2 million men into the field in a month, and they have an excellent army. They also have new missiles in their arsenals that could easily destroy Israel and actually attack our offshore naval power, just as the Iranians do. And the populations in the region are 100% behind them. In other words, we're dealing with an entire...
Yeah, whose fault is that? These goofy JOOs doing the foolishness that they're doing totally turned the whole world against them. These dudes are goofy. Like, talk about shoot yourself in the foot. Now the whole world is literally the whole world except Vocab Malone and Piers Morgan. Yeah, it's like, yo, these men are the devil. They're the problem. The whole world. It's crazy.
A region of people that is enraged at what is happening in Gaza. They went from saying that what Hamas had done was ugly and inappropriate, they'd gone too far and committed these atrocious crimes, to a point where they're now watching over 10,000 dead in Gaza, including thousands of children and women and old men. All of this is reaching them through television, through mass media, and they are enraged that no one is willing to step in, particularly the United States, and say, that's enough. And normally, you know, that's what presidents have done historically. They've intervened and said, all right, you regain control of the Suez. Now you want to cross the Suez Canal? Negative. You cannot cross the Suez Canal. If you cross the Suez Canal in 1973, that could put us in a warlike status with Russia. Russia will not tolerate the destruction of Egypt. So the Israelis eventually ceased and desisted, pulled back over the Suez, and eventually we got an agreement. No one is intervening right now. No one is saying, wait a minute, you know, what are you doing? You're just carpet bombing Gaza. I mean, it's way beyond, well, we're targeting what we think is Somalia. They're absolutely flattening the place and killing large numbers of people in the process. But right now, Mr. Netanyahu has far more influence and authority in Washington than President Biden. And that's a fact.
A few weeks ago, you said this, and I think it was spot on then. I think we're seeing it unfold now. You said, quote, you have an understandable and justified interest from Israel to destroy Hamas. However, I think the current plan will provoke an enormous reaction from the Muslim world. Pretty much everyone from Indonesia to Morocco is going to be extremely upset. And I think we will see the front against Israel in the region coalesce into a real military alliance against Israel. We need to protect Israel from itself. But you can, end quote, but you can only, I think, lead a horse to water. And I think the frustration I've been seeing from a number of supporters of Israel is Netanyahu has now screwed himself, that they've gone a bridge too far. And this is now going to lead to the destruction of Israel by carrying out what has unfolded in Gaza. Going after.
Yep, that's exactly what we're seeing. You know, they're leading themselves towards that path, right? In pride.
For Hamas, fine. Thousands of children being killed, not fine. The displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, not fine. Their secret plans drawn up to send 500,000 Palestinians to Canada, the Trudeau government, welcome 500,000 to Ireland, to the United Kingdom. I'm sure the Biden administration is making plans right now to have New York filled with Palestinians. So I think you were right about this. Have we failed to protect Israel from itself?
Oh, absolutely. No one is intervening to do that. On the contrary, I would compare this to the so-called blank check that was issued by the Kaiser to Vienna regarding the invasion of Serbia. That was really what sparked the First World War. We'd given Netanyahu a blank check and said, by all means, go for it. Now, there are people in Washington, inside the White House, who are afraid. What they've done is effectively opened the cage door and released the tiger. The tiger doesn't want to get back in the cage. The tiger wants to finish off everybody in the neighborhood. The tiger is Netanyahu, and he has concluded this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We have enormous control and influence over the United States, over its armed forces, its military power, its economic power, because the Israeli economy is being destroyed. Israel's in bad shape economically as a result of this war, but we can compensate for that. How do we compensate? We send billions of dollars over there to keep Israel afloat. So he says this is the perfect time for us to settle accounts. We'll wipe everybody out. And there's a certain amount of arrogance, assuming that no one in the region can act against us. And if they do,
there you go, the arrogance, man. And you know, that's always what you find before destruction. It's a fact. It's written into the universe. It's a rule, right? Peak arrogance. All right. Proverbs 11:2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom, right? Their shame is coming. All right. Definitely that their shame is coming. All right. Let's get that Holy Spirit. And the scriptures speak about the most proud. All right. This is one, Proverbs 18:12. It says, before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. And they're very haughty. That's why they're acting with such boldness before the eyes of the world, with reckless abandon. Yeah, it's crazy. Where's this guy?
well, we have the United States. Of course, no one bothered to ask, is it in the interest of the United States to be drawn into a regional war that would involve the Turks, the Iranians, as well as all of the Arab states? I don't think it is. But when you bring that up, people scoff and say, oh, that could never happen. The Shiites hate the Sunnis. The Turks and the Iranians will never cooperate. The Arabs have always been poor at organizing and cooperating. Egypt has nowhere else to go. They need us. They're not going to abandon us. And frankly speaking, the keystone in the edifice of peace in the region is really Egypt. Egypt has maintained an excellent set of relations with Israel for 50 years. If Egypt defects, and that's not impossible because right now in the streets in Cairo, my contact.
And they will defect because where is this one that I had? The treachery. Yeah, Isaiah 33. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So they are going to defect. That's going to happen.
Contacts over there tell me that people are saying that Sisi is a tool of Israel, that he's somehow or another either an American or an Israeli puppet. Well, that's bad news for Mr. Sisi, the general, if he wants to stay in charge. And remember, the Muslim Brotherhood took over in Egypt under Obama. He went there and congratulated Mr. Morsi was the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, they were thrown out by a coup, and we all welcomed that because we were worried what that meant for Egypt. Well, remember that Hamas is an armed wing of the Muslim Brotherhood. Remember that Mr. Erdogan is the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood in the Middle East and in North America. All of these things begin to fall together, the pieces. And you have this understanding in Iran and Turkey that while they don't like each other and they disagree on things, they're not going to go to war with each other because they understand how pointless and destructive that is.
Job done. Perfect. So we have a beautiful.
But when it comes to Israel, they can agree. They don't like it. They don't think it should exist. And they're fed up and they're disgusted because we have failed to exercise restraint. We haven't restrained the Israelis. And you're not going to see anything happen in Washington.
They're all bought and sold. It seems like they've got some dirt on like every member of Congress or something. They really seem to be in the tank no matter what the cost for Israel.
Well, remember the lobby and Professor Mearsheimer and his colleague wrote a book, Waltz, about the Israel lobby. One of the things that people don't understand is that lobby, and they're not the only ones, by the way. There are other lobbies that operate this way. The pharmaceutical lobbies do business this way. The defense lobbies are similar. We want to support you, Congressman so-and-so, Senator so-and-so. We'd like to give you this money that will go to your political action committee to help reelect you.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the point on that. And if you want to go, watch the whole of that video, you can go check that out. It's on the channel called Gotcha Gaming. But I just wanted to, bring that information out and bring them precepts out and show you that everything is moving in the right direction. And it's only a matter of time. All right. So hopefully that's been edifying. I got to attend to something now. So, call hello, Yahba Shem Yahweh Waraka Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders, and shalom to you brothers out there. Shalom.